podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
We don't fight for rings and stuff like that. I don't fear anyone.
En este deporte no se viene a jugar y no le tengo miedo a nadie.
You don't come to play in this sport. I fear no one in this sport.
Does that mean that you will fight Triple G later this year?
Como lo dije en la pelea pasada, ahorita mismo me vuelvo a poner los guantes.
As I said in the last fight, right now I'll put on the gloves again.
¡Viva México!
Canelo wants to unify all the titles.
When did you realize, Andy, that you could take his power?
Because of the Mexican warrior that I am, I got that Mexican blood in me. So, talking about the Mexican style, I just proved it.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the Boxing Voice.
Good morning, TBV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank God it's Friday, right? Ain't today Friday? Let me see the watch. It is Friday the 22nd. We got Brian Custard scheduled at 9:30, and I believe Chris Glover scheduled at 10 a.m., and we're going to have a jam-packed show. Good morning to everyone out there. If that good morning TBV didn't make it to you, we're here. We're rocking out, man. We're talking boxing every single day. It never stops. Definitely not for us anyway. We love what we do. I know I do. So I'm back to talk about you know who. Tim Bradley is on record saying that Canelo Alvarez is not pound for pound if he cannot knock out Yildirim. He says he's not pound for pound if he cannot knock out Yildirim. He said Yildirim is a punching bag. Yeah. He actually said the word punching bag. Yo, Bradley, in his old age, has gotten real, cutthroat, right? Like, he had a lot to say about the PBC fighters. Now he's got some more to say here about Canelo. I kind of like the energy. He's putting, I guess, his metaphorical foot on people's necks. He's keeping, the fire on them. I don't know, but let me give you some of these juicy Tim Bradley quotes to see if maybe you agree. He says, and let's be clear, he's not just saying he's not pound for pound. I mean, he's not happy with Canelo Alvarez's opposition. This is a Boxing Scene article, and Bradley isn't expecting too much from this Yildirim contest. He believes Canelo will break down and stop Yildirim in vicious fashion before the 6th round. And I quote, "In a fight like this, Canelo should look very, very impressive, and he should win this fight in spectacular fashion. It should be a highlight reel knockout. Sports Center top 10 KOs in all of boxing by the end of 2021. When it's all said and done, he can raise his profile and his standing with a KO win, because that's what a lot of fans want to see." And this is Tim Bradley, former world champion, multiple division champion, who was talking with ESPN. And that's what he had to say. Now, it almost sounds like he's giving Canelo praise, but it's also the blueprint, right? It's like, look, if you're going to fight this type of guy, you're going to want to make a statement. But real quick, we got some cash apps. I want to say thank you to Christian Camillo, who sends a congratulations on the house. God bless and good luck. Well, thank you for your kind words, brother. Definitely appreciate it. And I freaking can't look forward to getting there, even though everybody's hitting me up about Bears and Panthers now. Like many people. Shout out to James Benitez, who says, Mario gonna sleep somebody. Put some respect on his name. Uh-oh. Show kid, they coming for you early in the morning, man. Early in the morning. Yeah, so 2 Cash Apps early in the morning. Shout out for the love. So we got more quotes. He says, Yildirim should get stopped before the 6th round. He's a mandatory challenger who deserves to fight Canelo according to the sanctioning body. But at this point, we know what these sanctioning bodies are about. Moving guys in certain places that can be moving guys in certain places that can benefit their pockets, their franchise, and improve the way their marquee fighters look. Why isn't a guy like David Benavidez, who had the title and was one of the youngest guys ever to win that same title, in line for a chance to win it back instead? Now, that sounds good in theory, right? But we gotta be real. Bradley's out here reaching. Like, the hatred for Canelo is so large that people want the sanctioning body to strip you if you miss weight, but then because the next person in line isn't as good as you, let's just give you your belt back. That's what y'all saying. Y'all saying y'all hate Canelo so much that even though Benavidez was stripped and lost his belt at the scales, he should be in line to fight for it immediately. He shouldn't be penalized or punished for missing weight and not conducting himself as a champion. Let's just be clear. That's the message that Bradley wants to send out there. But Bradley goes on to say, the only problem I have with Alvarez, he's not fighting the best guys right now. He's winning these belts, challenging guys in different weight classes. You have a guy at 168 in Benavidez who wants all the smoke, but Canelo won't fight him. You have a guy in Jamal Charlo who would probably be willing to go up to fight Canelo. There's always talk about how these guys don't really want to fight, or how the money isn't right, or how they haven't fought enough names to be worthy of a shot. But come on, stop it. It's just a way to avoid a fighter and a fight you don't want, Bradley said to ESPN. And I further quote, Yildirim is a punching bag. I watched this fight with Chris Eubank Jr. and he got smoked in that fight. I saw him against Darrell. The Darrell fight was exciting, wild fight, and it ended prematurely, but he lost. That's his most recent fight, and it was 2 years ago. Now he's going to step up against Canelo and do better than that? He's one-dimensional. There's nothing that Yildirim should be able to do against Canelo. He doesn't have that one-punch knockout power. He's a guy who comes straight forward. His head is always in the middle. He leans forward over his front knee. He's almost 6 feet tall, and Canelo is smaller at 5'9", but we've seen Canelo have success against taller guys, and even so, Yildirim and Canelo have the same arm reach. Now, I just want to say, Bradley is mentioning Canelo's height, who's 5'9". FYI, Bradley was 5'8", never left the welterweight division. And I further quote, you look at Yildirim, he's fought a few guys, but anytime he's stepped up in class of opponent, he's been destroyed. He's looked terrible. He gets beaten. If Canelo does not knock this guy out, he cannot possibly be considered the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. It's just a fight. It's nothing that I will be willing to pay for to watch. Damn. Why you coming for my man King Nello like that? Like Nello ain't out here doing everything to carry the sport, man. So the secondary article that I want to give you guys is the counter to that argument, right? Bradley being the hater that he is. You know, I know today all the Canelo haters are going to become Bradley fans. They're going to say Bradley isn't a hater. They're going to magically forget that Bradley took shots at all the PBC fighters in the welterweight division who are actually fighting each other to defend his friend on his side of the street who hasn't fought any welterweight, right? We're going to forget that Bradley is biased when he talks about all his top-ranked fighters, because obviously Canelo is bigger than Bradley, so the hatred for Canelo is larger. He's a more popular fighter. Understandable. But the counter argument to that is, why aren't we giving Canelo any praise? Why isn't he getting any praise for staying active? In a day where we need our champions to be fighting to make our sport relevant, where UFC fans continuously tell us that we're losing to them, where UFC is doing better numbers than us, yeah. I think it's a great idea for Canelo to stay active like the greats of yesteryear. Muhammad Ali was fighting 4 times a year, you know? And let's be clear, the last time Canelo has been this active has been since 2011. Think about the level of opposition that he was probably facing in 2011, you know? So instead of tearing him down, I think that we need to be praising the fact that Canelo on February 27th will be making a title defense of a mandatory challenger in Miami, no less. He's opening up a whole new market in a whole new stadium, and it'll be his second fight in 70 days. In 70 days. Again, in a sport where we need our quote-unquote faces of boxing to show their face, this man is being torn down for that. Now, think about it. We could think back to so many years of fighters just fighting 2 times a year, you know? Imagine what Floyd could have done for the sport if he was slid in a tune-up in between his 2 fights, right? So pay-per-view in the beginning of the year, maybe a tune-up in August, right? Because he liked to go on Cinco de Mayo, so you got to figure like a May fight, and then like a August fight, maybe? Nope, because he likes September too. So he would have had to do May, September, December. You know what I'm saying? A December fight on regular Showtime or HBO, whatever network he was on back then, right? Because you going 6 months dark. Now, Floyd never really went dark because he had a full grip on his social media right from the door, man. Shout out to Floyd, you know. He was always promoting. He was always doing something, you know what I mean? So he was doing what he had to do, but not everybody does that. That's the thing. So, you know, these guys fight and then they go dark. So I don't know, man. I think that he needs to be getting the praise for what he's doing, right? I mean, he's very, very active. And I mean, if you're DAZN, he's the only reason people are subscribed. Him and AJ's not doing this. AJ's not fighting this frequently, you know? And think about it. These are 8-figure paydays. You understand? These are 8-figure paydays. He's out here fighting. He's out here fighting and scraping up all that money. But the fact that he's staying so active, it's only going to make that Keller Plant pay-per-view or that Billy Joe fight. Well, I really think both. I think both because, you know, he just fought Callum Smith in December, comes right back, fights Yildirim in February, comes right back with the 2-fight Matchroom deal that is solidified now. It's written in stone. It's official, and fights Billy Joe. And now he's able to negotiate with Keller for Undisputed in September. And according to this Athletic article with Michael Coppinger, he's even looking at a December fight. Like, I don't know. He got the sport on his back, especially for DAZN. Especially for DAZN. He's giving him everything and more. So, I don't know. I mean, look, it's I guess it's a given, coming out of my mouth to your ears, if I say, well, I'm going to give him his praise, you're going to say, well, what's new? But yeah, I'm going to give him his praise, man. I'm going to give him his praise for staying this active. I'm going to give him his praise for definitely carrying the sport, That layoff with Kovalev to Callum Smith was due to the contract. Let's not forget that. He would have been active. There was offers sent out. Things just couldn't happen. His fight with Billy Joe was already going to happen May of last year. So he's doing the right thing, man. You got to understand, not every single fight is going to be a tough fight. Every fight can't be a tough fight. And I think that more people need to do that. I did some research for this show, and if you look at Oscar and Floyd, I mean, these dudes were fighting 2 times a year for a long time. For a long, long time. Like, that just becomes the thing. Once you become a certain level of stardom, all of a sudden you can't fight more than twice a year. It's hard for them. When a fighter tells us he's going to fight 3 times, we like, oh, you're going to fight 3 times? But could we really name fighters could we use 2 hands to name fighters on the at least B plus A level? Like from a B plus to an A plus. How many of those guys are fighting 3 times of a year? 3 times out of the year. 4 times out of the year. And how many of those dudes are fighting twice? Think of Sean Porter. Think of Keith Thurman. Think of even Crawford. 2 times, man. Everybody. Gary Russell, 1 time. Most champions 2 times a year. So activity is something that's very important, because the opposite of activity is ring rust. And listen, why would you want ring rust? If you can stay active, now people are going to call in and say, oh, Yildirim, this is bullshit. Dazn getting ripped off. But that's none of your business. What the price for this is or anything. Your business is that you have boxing to watch. Either you can choose to watch it or not watch it. What they're paying him, they shouldn't be spending it on him. That's none of your business. As a boxing fan, you should be happy to see Canelo and whatever card is going to be placed underneath, because that's also what we need to understand when we give all this hate. Understand that there's a plethora of undercard fighters that are getting shine and that are getting the fight on Canelo's undercard and that are getting recognition and noticed and interviews and a paycheck. Without a Canelo card, you can't put an undercard. Without a Canelo card, you probably can't pay certain fighters. So he's also establishing, a platform for other fighters to go ahead and get some fights off. During a time where if you're not a big name, you can't get a TV date. You can't secure a venue. Your promoter can't afford a bubble. So, I mean, there's a lot to think about other than just, oh man, Canelo's fighting. I never heard of him. Cool, but you did hear of Smith. He was the number 1. And you do know Kovalev. He was a 3-time champion. So, like, Oscar slid in Stevie Forbes. Mayweather slid in his Sean Bay Mitchells. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always going to be a number 1 or an A-plus fighter. It's just not. But we do have Brian Custard scheduled here in about 8 minutos. And, we're going to talk some boxing. We're going to ask him the same thing, man. We're going to see how he feels about Canelo's activity. Does he mind it? Or does he prefer it, right? I prefer all fighters. I didn't complain when Shakur fought whoever he fought in the bubble. I want to see my fighters fight. I want to see my fighters fight. I didn't tell Earl, oh, you got to come back and fight Danny Garcia. Nah. I wanted him to get a tune-up. He the one said no tune-ups. I didn't criticize Andy Ruiz for not taking the Dillian White fight. I said, nah, let that man rebuild. He realized his mistakes and he want to go to the gym and get right. He don't want to just take another big fight for a big check without being physically prepared. You know? My energy's always the same, man. Everybody's entitled to tune-ups. See, the people that don't want tune-ups or don't understand what a tune-up is, you know, I hate to sound like that, but it's like because you never been in the ring. You never been in the ring, man. If you have, you wouldn't be saying those type of things, man, because every fight can't be that level. It just can't, you know? Even Wilder. I said, yo, take a tune-up. Take a tune-up. Work on some shit. Everybody's entitled to it, man. Everybody. You know? Everybody. You can't go through the fire every single time and not get burnt and not need recovery time. It's called recovery time, people. That's what that is. Nothing out of this world, man. Let me just hit Costa. Because he just realized he's ready. All right. So, yeah, man, I think that is the counter argument. No, this may not be the level of opposition that you want, but the fighter is remaining active. You know, 3-4 fights a year in a calendar 12-month year. That's the type of headlines that I want for the sport that I love. You understand? Canelo gets writers writing. All top fighters. If Floyd fights, whether it's a YouTuber, whether it's tension, we talk about it. You know, the big names fight, we talk about it. Whether it's Crab and Lobster, we're going to talk about it because he's fighting Crawford. We talk about it. So if these guys are fighting more, we'll talk about them more and our sport will grow. Now, listen, this is not just like opinion, right? Like I have Google Trends that I follow. You know, this is my business. So I get pings whenever certain fighters are raise a certain level, right? Like if they get to like 100 search score, I get a ping. Boxing raises, I get a ping, you know, so that I can know what is trending in my niche. You know, I get alerts. So again, when the big names fight, what do you think happens to the graph? It goes above the 100 peak. You understand? Wilder, I showed it to you before. You know, people tried to complain about Wilder after the loss, and I showed you how much he grew in popularity after the loss, right? And I used Google Trends for that. What is Google Trends? The millions and millions of people typing your name in the search bar. That's recorded. That is showing the popularity of a person. So it's not only in the US, they give you every country that is searching the person and the percentile. So boxing would do well from its elite faces fighting 3 times a year, you know? Like, hypothetically, let's go per division. Let's go per division, just the good guys, right? And that sounds bad. Just the big names, right? So we'll go heavyweights. We got 4 major sanctioning bodies, 2 champions, right? So that's only 2 fighters. We'll pick 3 from each division to make it quick. So 1, 2, 3 is Wilder, Fury, AJ. Who's going to be mad if these guys fight 3 times each, right? You know, so Wilder, Fury happens, AJ and Fury are alleged to be fighting. That's 2 fights right there because they're going to have a rematch. So then that means Wilder needs to get his 2 fights. He's got Charles Martin. The rumor after that is Andy Ruiz. So then the winners meet. And that's their third fight each. But you guys are mad. Well, no, you wouldn't be, because it would have been a necessary evil, right? But there's going to be an argument. Someone's going to say, oh, while AJ's fighting Fury, why is Wilder getting to fight Charles Martin, right? Because they're not going to respect the level of opposition of a Charles Martin, right? Because most people don't know shit about boxing. Cruiserweight division, really in desperate need of these guys fighting 3 times. You know, if McAboo fought 3 times, we'd probably be praising him a whole lot more, because he's the most, fixed figure outside of Meredith Britis, right, in this division. Krzysztof Glowacki is a known name, but he's on the out, and he's fighting a Coley who's on the up. So again, if any of these top guys fought 3 times in 1 year, we would at least talk about the fucking cruiserweight division, which we don't. All right, moving on. Light heavyweight, same thing. When's the last time Artur Beterbiev fought? Oh yeah, I'll tell you, when he unified. Now he's signed to fight some dude I never heard of before. Let me see if he's even on the fucking rankings, right? It's something like Denies or some weird, I don't even know who he's fighting, bro. I never heard of Denise or whoever he is. I don't even see him on none of these sanctioning bodies. Whoever he's about to fight right now. Let's search. I'm gonna Google it, because I'm telling you, I don't see the dude's name. Oh, there he goes, Adam. That's who he's fighting. Somehow the number 6 is fighting him, but no one's got the pitchforks and the flame out for Artur Beterbiev, right? It's okay because he's coming off COVID and a long layoff, but it wasn't okay for Canelo to come off a long layoff and the COVID, not that he had it, but COVID itself, right, was around for that whole year after the Kovalev fight. He went into the Callum fight, but he got hatred for fighting Callum, who was the number 1. No one cares that Artur Beterbiev, the unified champ, right? The better beast. Oh, that's who Canelo should have fought. So he's going to get a pass because he's fighting. Who the fuck exactly is that? Someone help me? Please tell me who is that? So again, if Artur fought 3 times and Gilberto maybe fucking fought 3 times, right? We care. When's the last time John Pascal fought? And I'm just trying to show you a trend, man. If people can follow what Canelo is doing, we would have a better sport. Rather than you guys breaking him down for what he's doing, you know? I'm gonna have to call Brian myself. Is he not there? Brian. Oh, email me. All right, champy. Email. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm flying solo. These dudes are yeah, I don't know. I'm here and they're saying they're there, but we don't see them. Let's try this. And then let me email this to Brian. Sorry, fellas, again. Solo Dolo. Scarface. No Manolo. But anyway, activity is what I want from any of my fighters. Man, listen, Broner said he's trying to fight 3 times this year. Imagine if he could. How well that would be for the sport. You know, how good that would be for the sport. How well he would do. If he had some activity, right? He wouldn't balloon as much, right? The discipline would be easier to keep, right? So all those things matter, man. When's the last time Robert Easter fought, man? What about Mikey? He ain't fought since last year, March, man, versus Vargas. I'm just telling y'all, if we stop putting this unfair, standard on these fighters to have to fight a top 3 guy every single time, we would get a better sport, man. A more appealing sport. You know, you got to remember that every time Wilder has to fight a Fury, it's expensive. So you can't fight a top 3 fighter every time because you got to come up with the purses for that. And it just becomes more difficult. So if you can make 2 big fights and 1, decent fight, I don't see how that would be an issue or why it should be an issue. We should be giving praise to anybody trying to fight this much on this level. On this level, though. Let's make that clear. You could fight 6 times a year if you just some prospect coming up. You know what I mean? I mean, Canelo, I believe he said in 2010, maybe he fought 14 times, right? Or 2007 or something like that. I got to check the article, but, he told Michael Coppinger, look, I fought 14 times in this year. So, obviously, we're not talking about that sort of opposition or when you're on that level. We're talking about when you arrive. When people know your name and they care about you, you need to remain active to stay in the news cycle. Keep it fresh. Keep it fresh. But let's see here. I'm still waiting on Brian. He's definitely ready. He told me to email him. Hopefully we're ready to go. And we can rock and roll. Let's see. Is this it? Hey, Brian, what's up?
What's up, buddy?
How are you, man? Good morning.
Man,
Good morning.
how you doing?
I'm good. Happy to have you. Sorry about the last interview we had scheduled, the internet issues, technical difficulties, all that good stuff. Listen, today I want to talk about your Broner interview, but right before we do that, obviously we're talking Canelo Alvarez and a couple of headlines. The first one is Timothy Bradley's very adamant that if Canelo doesn't knock out Yildirim, he isn't pound for pound. That Yildirim is, and I quote, a punching bag. But Michael Coppinger in The Athletic wrote an article where they say we should be praising Canelo due to the fact that he's staying this active. When he fights Yildirim February 27th, it would have been 70 days since his last fight. And, it would be 3 fights in this calendar year because he'll be fighting Yildirim. He signed a 2-fight deal with Matchroom that's official now. So it means in Cinco de Mayo, it's Billy Joe. And we had Caleb Plant on the show and, he's looking to get the mandatory with Truax out the way so that he can be free to fight in September with Canelo. So, I mean, in a sport where we need the faces of boxing to be out there, is Coppinger right? Should we be praising Canelo for fighting as much as he is?
Well, I don't know about praise is the right word. I think that, for the lifeblood of the sport, I think we should be happy that our top stars want to be active and not go the route of I'm just going to fight once a year. And you're right. We just interviewed Caleb Plant for the Last Stand podcast, and that's exactly what he said. As you pointed out, the reason why he's fighting Caleb Truax, he said, I want to get all of my mandatories out of the way. The IBF is really strict about that because that leaves me the rest of the year for nothing but unification fights and big fights. And in his mind, a big fight is Canelo. And listen, he's adamant that that's a fight that will happen this year. I think it is a good thing that Canelo is going to be active, is going to fight in February, intends to fight on Cinco de Mayo, and then intends to fight at the end of the year. That's good for the sport. And listen, whether it's Benavidez, whether it's Caleb Plant, whether it's Charlo, those are the fights we want to see with those guys, especially in that weight division.
Let me ask you the Benavidez question because he's getting, I think he's getting a lot of praise, right? Like all the articles, the chat rooms, everyone is saying, why Yildirim? Why not Benavidez? Even to Plant, like we had him on for, I don't know, maybe an hour, and all the questions coming from the people are you going to fight Benavidez? Why don't you fight Benavidez? When is the Benavidez fight going to happen? Like, why does Benavidez get so much praise and the public is giving him so many opportunities? Isn't he still on timeout? Shouldn't he be penalized for
it's a really good question. Again, I can go by, and I'm sure Caleb told you guys the same thing. We'll drop the Caleb Plant. And as a matter of fact, we've got Broner out this week. Berlanga, his interview drops next Tuesday. He talked about David Benavidez. And then after that, we'll drop Caleb's. And, listen, I can only talk to you about what Caleb said. I'm sure he said the same thing to you, because I said, Benavidez is talked about that this fight has been percolating for a couple of years, and now it's time for you two to fight. And he said, well, I hear what he's saying, but he wasn't saying that when he was the champion. He was telling me, you need to get a belt. He said, especially after he won it against Graville, I was right there like, yo, let's fight. He said, nah, you need to get a belt. And then he said, once I got the belt, I was like, well, let's get it on. He was like, nah, I got other things to do. And then he goes, he gets busted for cocaine. And then he loses the title again because he doesn't make weight. So he said, why is it essential that we fight now that he doesn't have the belt? Because when he did have the belt, he kept putting me off. And, so the question I asked Caleb was, will this be a situation like Spence and Thurman? Everyone wanted you guys to fight initially, and it seemed like Thurman had no intentions of fighting you. And then once you became champion and then Thurman wasn't champion, it was like, okay, I got to fight Errol Spence. And Caleb said, I don't see it like that. I will fight him. Trust me, I will fight him. But I want him to get to the back of the line and fight his way back like he's supposed to, because he's the one who messed up his own self. It was because of his own negligence that he's in the situation that he's in now. And I'm not going to let him jump the line and then say, okay, I'm going to fight you next. No, you're in timeout, as you just pointed out there, Ness. Fight your way back. You fight your way back. Let's get it on.
Yeah, I mean, to hear or rather read Bradley's comments saying that, Canelo should be fighting Benavidez, it's like, so we just are going to disrespect the rules. Like, Benavidez lost his belt on the scales. Mm-hmm. He needs to show us that he can, get that belt back and keep it. Like, giving him the Plant opportunity and I'm with Plant, right? Like, we've interviewed Samson Lewickovich on this show. There's audio of him saying, like, we don't want to do the Benavidez Plant fight right now. So now all of a sudden you lose your belt and we got to get this fight. No, Plant is now in the position to receive this option from Canelo. Why should he all of a sudden be the bigger fighter, the bigger man for the fans, and say, oh, you guys really wanted this fight for 2 years and he didn't want to fight me, and now even though it's not a unification, I'm going to give it to you for less money? No way.
Absolutely. No, you hit it, and that basically that was his argument that he talks about in the episode that you'll see when we drop that in a couple of weeks. And I'll give you another little nugget that we talked about too was, I said, obviously there's been a lot of talk of Charlo and Canelo, but, could you see a Caleb Plant Charlo fight? And he said, no, I've heard the whispers that Charlo, wants to come up to 168, and he's got to realize that at 168, I'm the man, and he needs to come see me. So, yeah, I could see a Plant Charlo fight in the future. So I was like, whoa, that would be a heck of a fight too. I would love that.
Yeah, it's funny. We asked the same question, and he said he's the man. He's not worried about anybody moving up or coming into the division. He is the man. So I'm interested in Caleb Plant a lot, man, because he is very disciplined.
Yes.
So, that reminds me of the guys like Floyd and Crawford, those people usually have longevity. Guys like that, you have longevity in the sport because they're sharp. And that's what we're saying about staying active and fighting multiple times a year. Can you name, give me 3 fighters that you would love to have 3 fights a year, even if they were fighting, someone the level of Yildirim in between 2 elite level fights?
Yeah, I think I think obviously the guys who come off the top of my head, obviously I'd like to see Canelo be a lot more active. I'd like to see guys like Errol. I would love to see Errol fight like 3 times a year. I'd love to see Bud Crawford fight 3 times a year. We did an episode that's out now with Adrian Broner, and people can go to Last Stand Podcast and check it out. Broner said this is the year he wants to fight 3 times this year. It's been a while. He feels like he needs to be active. He's dropped all this weight, and he said, "Look, I want to fight in February. I want to come right back again in the summer." And he said, "And then I want to end the year with a pay-per-view fight." So, I think, whether you love him or hate him, you need Adrian Broner in your life in this sport because he's a character and he certainly draws eyeballs when he does fight.
If you had to make a prediction, who do you think would be his 3 fights this year ending in a pay-per-view? Who do you think, he needs to build himself up, obviously, to finish off with a pay-per-view 140-pound fight? Who's that dance partner in your opinion? Yeah,
to me, that's the interesting one because as I asked him was, well, then who is that one guy out there, Adrian, that you said I got to get him in the ring? And his answer to that was, no, it's not about me picking somebody. It's about what's the best option for me. And he said, I know that a number of these guys want me on their record. And so for me, it is about finding the best opponent that is going to appeal to the masses. He did talk about Prograis. That Prograis a fight that he could see that could probably happen, but I don't think that would be a pay-per-view fight. It would have to be, like you said, somebody who is really, really good there. And at 140, you got to do a lot of thinking before you can come up with a fighter that could make that kind of draw.
Let me ask you, do you think that, it's too simple to say could he, but do you think that he has the capability to negotiate outside of PBC? Because the only pay-per-view fight I could see is once Josh Taylor and Ramirez fight, and they have all the belts.
Yeah.
If you call Bob and offer Broner services, he can put one of those guys over the top. A pay-per-view fight on ESPN for all the belts with Adrian Broner versus a Mexican and Ramirez.
That'd be great.
Or a guy from across the pond maybe can be done, but it would have to be with Bob. I just don't see anything pay-per-view worthy on the
PBC side.
No.
Right,
Barrios is one of my. Listen, Barrios might as well be my son because I've been freaking, covering him since 1-0. I know his father and everything, but he's not pay-per-view right now. But Francis, good morning in Toronto. Thank you for joining us. What's up? You got something for Custer? I got plenty of Patreon.
How you doing, Mr. Custer?
What's up, brother? How you?
I'm thankful, man. Pardon my tardiness. This homeschool learning with both kids all the time is. It's no joke, man. I gotta help my wife keep one sitting at the computer. It's a workout in itself, man. But
hey, trust me, I got 3 at home, so I understand. Look, the good thing for me is that we have this fight this weekend, so I'm in the bubble. So I got nothing but time up in this hotel room because I can't go nowhere.
I love it. Thank you again for your interview and thank you for your time. I just wanted to ask you real quick on Adrian Broner. Did you get a sense from talking to Adrian that he has the bit between his teeth? Like he's a new man. He's really snapped out of whatever that he felt like trance that he was in. That he's really focused on 1, getting his career back, and 2, gaining a world title.
Yeah, I think I got a sense that obviously he's on a mission to look really good in February. For him to drop basically 40 pounds was like, whoa. And to, to give up drinking, to give up partying, which was, his thing. I mean, he would work out and then go party, and then party, and maybe work out, and then party some more, and then not work out. But for him, whether it was all over Christmas, over New Year's, he did nothing but work out. And you can see, he looks in great shape. He did say that he is adamant that he will be a world champion this year. He wants it to be at 140. And, the question I asked him, I said, listen, I'm sure you'll get it the closer we get to the fight, is A, is this change for real? And B, is this the last time that we will hear about Adrian Broner has changed his ways? And, his answer was somewhat honest. And he said, you know what? A lot of it's going to be dictated on my performance. Because if I perform in February 20th on Showtime and I look lackluster, yeah, people are going to be like, man, that's just him talking that smack again. But, if I'm sharp in the way I feel right now, I feel sharp, they'll know that this is for real. So, I guess we'll have to wait and see on February 20th, how real this change was. And if he was, serious. He says in sparring he looks great. As he says, people will see on the 20th that Twin is back. And that's what, obviously, people who know him really well call him Twin.
Right. I love it. My next question I wanted to ask you was, you've been doing bubbles for football, for boxing, and basketball too?
Yeah, basketball. Yeah, we do.
Without putting anybody in the bus, who would you feel like out of those entities has gotten the bubble correct? In terms of
I think probably here at Showtime in boxing probably does it the best out of all of them. Football, we still have we had a bubble, but we're at home for the beginning of the week. So we get tested for football, we get tested at the beginning of the week so that we can travel. And then, so you're still at home, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. A lot of times you travel on Thursday for the game, and then you're in their bubble until the game.
Right.
But there's a few days at home where we just kicking it, and things can happen, and things have happened on a number of crews. Thank goodness nothing that has happened to me, knock on wood, but some of my colleagues. Basketball is a little more loose. Again, we just get tested at the beginning of the week, and that's it. And you go to some of these arenas, some of them take your temperature, some of them don't. They just have us, in the upper deck of the seating where we call the game, because they don't want us near the floor. So it's a little more loose. I would say boxing gets it better.
Awesome. You can get to the questions of the people, Ness. I'll just mix it in between there. Thanks.
All right. We got a few. Israel Weber in Oklahoma says, good day, Mr. Custer. Your show is becoming quite the reference point amongst us boxing fans. You have a friendly yet effective interview technique, and you make it look easy. In a 2-year window, a guest of yours, Ray Leonard, fought Wilfredo Benitez for the WBC belt, defended it and lost it to Duran, won it back and defended it again and won the WBO belt against Thomas Hearns. A total of 7 fights. Long story short, are modern boxing fans shit out of luck? Because I like to say some of us are business fans, not boxing fans. Congrats on the rise in the boxing podcast world, and when next in Oklahoma, lunch on me.
Oh, I love that. I'll take him up on that, brother. Because I travel a lot for when we do basketball. So, yeah, when I hit that brother up, don't act like you don't know me when I hit him up in Oklahoma looking for some food.
Next one is from King Amin in Essex. He says, peace, champ. Name your top 5 fighters from Ohio.
Wow. Aaron, I gotta go with the Hawk, man. Aaron Pryor is he was a beast. James Buster Douglas, only because I'm originally from Columbus, and he was the toast of the town for a minute. So Buster would be up there as well. He wants all of Ohio. Cleveland has got a number of guys. Obviously Broner. You can't discount what he did. He was 4-time champ, 4-division champ. So Broner would be there as well. That's a really good question. I think I would give him those 3. Would probably be my three guys. But I would go with those 3. Those would be my top 3.
Carlito in the UK says, what's good, Mr. Custer? Firstly, I want to thank you for showing love and supporting my favorite boxing podcast. You are a real one. Of all the interviews you've done over the last year, which was your favorite and which interviewee was the least engaging? Lastly, I got a list of interviews I want to see you conduct. Al Heyman, Tim Smith, AJ, Canelo, Eddie Hearn, Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia. Love from London, Brian.
Wow, that's great. I'll tell him the truth. I mean, we've reached out to Eddie Hearn about AJ. Eddie has never responded back to us. Al Heyman, absolutely. I will tell him I talked to Al Heyman's right-hand man, and his response was that he laughed. And so I don't know if that was a good laugh or a bad laugh, but he said his response was he just laughed. He said, I told him you want to talk to him, and he said Al had a laugh. So we've certainly tried him. Ryan Garcia is a good one. I mean, because we talked to Golden Boy about him, and I guess Ryan has his own team, and his own team they just haven't responded just yet. So we're still waiting to hear back from Ryan Garcia. Guys who I think was really engaging. I think Errol was always really good, because we talked to Errol kind of early in the summer, coming off the accident, and he was really honest, not only about the accident, but about how he had maybe lost a little focus. So I thought, to me, he was really honest about it, and he spoke to us up for like almost an hour. You want to say the guy who wasn't as engaging? No, I think everybody who's come on wanted to come on and was engaged. I will say this though, Ness, the one guy who you almost couldn't get a word in edgewise because he talked a lot was Deontay. It would be like, blah, 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 and I'd be like, Deontay, no, let me finish. And he would just keep going. And I was like, but, and he just kept going and going and going and going. So it wasn't that he wasn't engaged. It was as if I'm going to say everything I want to say, and you're not going to refute me. And
that one was your biggest numbers too for the year, right?
Yes.
Again,
yes.
Deontay brings them in, man.
Yeah, he does. Absolutely. He does, man. He does. So it wasn't like he wasn't engaged. He was engaged, but he was like, you ain't getting in nothing edgewise. I mean, I got in a few questions. I tried to get him about Mark. I tried to ask him about the water. I tried to ask him about the suit, and he just, his answer would go for a good 10 minutes. Not a minute. It would go for a good 10 minutes. So you could only get a few questions in with him.
All right, we got the next one is actually right on par with that. When interviewing Deontay Wilder, this is from Brandon Maurice in Cincinnati. When interviewing Deontay Wilder, you had a genuine look of concern and disappointment in your face when he was making his numerous cheating allegations. What was going on in your head listening to him say these things? Those were serious allegations, and I wanted to. If you remember, there was a part that I was trying to say, but Deontay, do you have proof? And he said, no, let me finish. And he kept going. I wanted to say, can you give us some proof? Is there something substantive that you know for a fact that you can tell me that backs up that, Tyson in your mind cheated? And his only answer eventually to that was that's why they are going to mediation in court, and it will all be proven then. But that was what was going through my mind as he was talking. It would be the same thing as if we were having this discussion now, and you just railed against how bad you thought the sport was or Showtime, and in my mind I would be saying, well, what's the proof that you have? And that was what I was thinking as Deontay was talking about some of the things, some of the allegations that he had.
Nice.
Let me see here. We got Coach Myers in Connecticut says, hello, Mr. Custer. I would like to see you interview Cassius Chaney an undefeated American heavyweight. My question is, would you ever interview Mike Tyson again? And how did summer 2013 change your perspective of life being a father?
Wow.
I know, he slid 3 in there.
Yeah. Okay. With the Cheney, I think, question, obviously send me some information on him and let me read up on him, because I haven't really had the opportunity to see him fight yet. So I need to, do some background on him. What was the second question, Ness?
Second part is, would you ever interview Mike Tyson again?
Oh yeah, so obviously, I mean, we matter of fact, we're in talks right now to schedule Evander, because Evander wanted to come on. So we've been talking to his people to get the right day to interview Evander. And yeah, as soon as we do that, I definitely want to talk to Mike after that, because I wanted to hear what Evander has to say. And then so if Mike's people are listening, let's get it on, because we got Evander. I think we're going to do that next week, and we'd love to do Mike too, right? As soon as we do Evander.
All right, and
being a father was, obviously, 2013. So 2013, that was about 8 years ago. Oh, is he talking about after being diagnosed with prostate cancer? Is that what I'm assuming?
I mean, he wasn't specific. He just said, "How has it changed your life?"
I think that was the year I got diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I think it changed me a lot. I mean, I certainly don't take anything for granted. I mean, whether it's professionally, whether it is personally, saying I love you, and reaching out to people who I care about more. I think a lot of times, sometimes you'd be like, man, I'll call this dude back, or, I'll get to him when I can get to him. I'm usually now with my friends and family, I make sure I reach out a lot more after that day.
We got questions and sentiments coming from all over the place. I'm going to read a super chat that came in from Big Supermax Rodriguez, the one I can actually see. He says, thank you so much for supporting Border Wars in Dallas. We all appreciate if you were able to check out the event. Thanks again, Mr. Custer. We would all appreciate if you could check out the event.
I think. Oh, you mean be there live? Is that what he's saying?
Pretty much.
He just didn't put commas and shit. He was saying, "Thank you so much for supporting the Border Wars event in Dallas. We all appreciate it." Then he asks, "Were you able to check out the event?"
No, I was. That was the weekend I was traveling, so I was doing college football that weekend. But let me tell you something. I would love to come see it, because y'all was in Dallas, and Dallas is next to Columbus, my favorite city in the world. I've lived there for almost 10 years. 2 of my boys were born in Dallas, so I like to say I'm a Dallasite. Anytime I can get to Dallas, I'm there. So if y'all do it again in Dallas, you better believe I'm going to try my best to get there. Just make sure y'all don't do it during college football season.
For sure. Next one is from Ryan Mesa, a.k.a. Dempsey. He says, what was the first boxing match you remember catching your interest and making you want to tune in to see it?
I think, obviously as a kid, my whether it was my grandmother or my uncle, I mean, they loved Muhammad Ali. So, as a kid, listen, I'm old enough to know that, Muhammad Ali used to come on ABC, on the weekends, and Sugar Ray Leonard and those guys, you didn't have to have Showtime, HBO, none of that stuff. I mean, it was just regular, a wide world of sports, and you would see Muhammad Ali and Cosell. So for me, that was what captured my love and interest into the sport. But I'll tell you, when I was, I want to say college, when I saw Corrales and Castillo, I mean, that fight, I was just like, when I get into sports broadcasting, that's what I want to do. I want to broadcast boxing, and that fight for me sealed it. That's when I knew that I wanted to do this as a profession.
We got Ken in Haiti who says, "What's going on, Mr. Custer? In your personal opinion, do you think we'll ever see Crawford and Spence in the ring?"
I do. I just, the politics will always, play a part. I do think that I get a sense that from a PBC side, they're trying to see if Crawford is going to walk away from the top ranked deal, which supposedly ends at towards the end of the year, and they believe that if he does that, it'll be an easier fight to do. I don't think they want to do it with him still a part of top rank, because then they know that it will be a long, drawn out, hard process. I think they want him to leave top rank and then say, okay, come on over and let's do it. And you can get more of the money if you just come to the PBC. And I think that's probably the issue.
Adrian Rowan in Wisconsin says, do you think the next crop of welterweights will make the big fights easier than the current crop of elites?
That's a good question. I think as long as these guys stick with their promoters, it's going to be hard. I mean, I think Jaron Ennis has really got the tools to be something, and he is along those PBC lines, kind of leaning towards those, and I don't. I just who's it? Who's on the other? Who's top ranked? Is it Virgil?
That's Golden Boy.
That's Golden Boy. So I know they can work together, but it's like kissing cousins. They look at Golden Boy and PBC kind of look at each other like we used to be cool, but now I don't know if I can trust you anymore. So there's always going to be that kind of stuff, and it's just unfortunate. I would like to think that maybe this next crop will realize, hey, look, we need to all fight each other, and it'll be an easier process.
I like it.
All right, next one, and we're almost there. We got James Valdez, San Antonio, Texas. What's your most memorable moment on Showtime's broadcast thus far? I personally always look forward to the comments from Mauro Ranallo.
Mauro is, I always say Mauro is a beautiful mind. He's a genius, probably one of the most intelligent guys I know in the business. Genuine, love him to death. And I love that he is just as adamant as I am about getting men of color to know their number and get tested, their PSA test for prostate cancer. He is the same when it comes to mental health, and he's unabashed about telling his story, and that he does suffer from bipolar, and that, listen, mental health is something that is affecting a lot more people in this country, and I'm happy that he's willing to speak about it. So that is that. I think some of the most memorable moments would be probably Mayweather fights. Those were always big. I mean, hell, the McGregor Mayweather, that from the press conference when we went from city to city to city, and we do a press conference and you had 15, 20,000 people at a press conference, to me was mind-boggling. And when we got into that arena, the MGM Grand, and just to see the number of people in there, from boxing fans, MMA fans, to just casual fans, and the number of stars there, that was really something. So I would say that was probably number one there on memorable moments.
Let me slide into real quick. Hey Brian, Mauro is Canadian.
Yes,
I grew up watching him on Canadian sports broadcasting. He started off doing wrestling, which is crazy. Every night we used to get on, and you can't miss the voice. So to see him doing Showtime is absolutely amazing, man, because I know the journey and the struggle that he took to get to where he got to. And kind of like the same thing with myself, he got the opportunity. Another one is Cabby Richards, who's now for Bleacher Report. We used to shoulders all the time. Those guys are like, mentors. I like to call them myself, being opportunities. So tell more shout out to him and keep going, because we as Canadians over here, every time we hear him talk, we're happy. We're like, yes, because we know the roots he coming from, man. He coming from, trust me, Nez, if you know where he coming from, you'd be like, he put the work and he deserves it, man, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, even as a teen, I mean, he was doing this stuff, and he loves wrestling, loves calling it. And you're right. And the reason why I really love him is he's a hip hop head. So we always are talking about hip hop in between the shows. So and you can hear some of them. He throws some of it out when he's calling the fights too. Mm-hmm. So that's my man. I love him to death because he's really authentic. What you see on air is really how he is off the air.
Yep. There's another one I want to tell you too, Brian. Before Adnan Virk is a very good one too. Adnan Virk is the man. A lot of people don't know about Adnan, but trust me. We'll move on. We'll talk about that another time.
We got Big Casual that says, which fight are you more anticipated to see? AJ versus Fury or Wilder versus Fury 3?
I think, listen, let's be honest. I think I'd like to see AJ versus Fury. I mean, let's fight for all the belts and we have an undisputed heavyweight champion. Yeah, I mean, I think we've already seen, Wilder, Fury, twice. If I had a choice, I'd whether it's AJ Fury, Wilder Fury again, I'd rather see AJ Fury, and then maybe the winner face Deontay Wilder. So that's kind of where I stand with that.
40 Thief says, congratulations on all the success with your podcast. Who is your top 5 pound for pound?
Man, I just, obviously Canelo would be there. I love me some Errol Spence. He would definitely have to be up there. Inoue would definitely be up there. Terrence Crawford would be up there. To me, those would be my top guys. By the way, Ness, I know you are. Did you see Gary Russell? You watched that Gary Russell episode?
Yes.
And what did you think when Gary Russell said, I'm going to tell you right now, there is nobody in the sport of boxing, whether it's the Errol Spence, the Canelos, the such and such, that has the ring intellect, the physical abilities, the hand speed, and the talent, the Mr. Gary Russell Jr. And then he said, I don't care if you name Terrence Crawford, blah, blah, blah. And he just went off and named everybody. Canelo, Errol Spence, and named off. What did you think when he said that?
I mean, the same thing I've been thinking for the last 5 years. I need Gary to get in a real fight to prove that stuff. Like, that's why I jumped on the roller coaster with him, and I was going to jump off the cliff with him when he wanted to fight Crawford, because I desperately need to see him try to achieve greatness again. Because he talks like that, but then he forgets that he lost to Loma. Like, you didn't beat Loma. You can't be this skilled, great fighter that you think you are and lost to Loma. And then, I just never liked the whole sauna excuse, because I like Gary, so I actually buy into it. Like, I understand it's your biggest fight of your career. You want to tweak everything. You hired a strength and conditioning coach, and this guy put you in a sauna on the week of the fight, and it probably ruined things for you, because we never seen him look like that. But we also never seen him in with that level of competition. I would just love someone to give him an opportunity. I talk about Gary so much. The fact that he calls out Gervonta the way that he does, and Gervonta acts like he's never even heard of him. They're from the same area. I mean, your friends have to be telling you, like, why are you letting this little dude call you shorty? Then he comes at everybody. I mean, he's called out. He was gonna fight Tevin Farmer, because Tevin Farmer was talking like he wanted it, but then he lost his title. He's willing to fight JoJo, but he needs them. All the fights that he wants are fights out of his division. Right. So we just need him to take a fight, man. I mean, I don't know. And now he has to fight Ray Vargas, a guy moving up. So let's see. Let's see what Ray Vargas does, because I respect Ray. He was a good champion at 22. He's tall, he's long, so he probably was busting at the seams already, but it's not the fight I wanted for Gary. Right. I mean, there was talks of Broner and Devin and Tank and Crawford, and now you're gonna give me Ray Vargas. I'm like, Jesus, that's not what we talked about. That's not what we talked about. But the last one, before we let you go, is coming from Steve in Chicago, who says, do you believe Showtime will bring back Showbox in 2021? What? They did that.
Yeah. I mean, because this was, the show they just did here on Wednesday celebrated the 20-year anniversary of Showbox, and it just goes to their greatness because there isn't any other show like it. And I give Steve Farhood, I give the creator Gordon Hall a lot of props because when they came up with it, they said, "Look, we want the top prospects on this show, and we want them to fight the top prospect. That way we know that we've got the real deal." And when you look at it, I mean, I think at this point, I don't know how many, whether it's 80, 70 something champions that have come through Showbox, from the Andre Awards, the Errol Spence, the Gary Russell Juniors. I mean, you can just go on. Jerome Boots Ennis. I mean, all of these guys all came up through Showbox, and that's where they got their start. And look where they are now. So, I mean, that I don't think another boxing program will ever be duplicated to what Showbox has done for the sport and done for Showtime. So yeah, they just celebrated 20 years and they intend to go for another 20.
I'm sure your water cooler gets a lot more conversation than ours. Any chatter about possibly bringing Devin back? I know his contract is up in April. Have you overheard maybe an Espinoza say he's going to be paying attention? Does the network want to be back in that Devin Haney business? I mean, it does make sense, again, if you're looking for that pay-per-view fight that Broner spoke of on your interview. Maybe Devin is the pay-per-view fight at 140 for Broner.
Yeah, I know for a fact that, Steven is an aggressive guy and is all about always enhancing Showtime Championship Boxing and making it better. He even made no secrets that once Canelo said, "I wanted out the Golden Boy," he was like, "Hey, look, you want to come on back? Let's go, let's talk." And obviously Canelo went a different route, but trust me, yes, I'm sure he's kept his ears to the ground and knows that, hey, look, Devin, if you want to come on over, and you were with us initially, Showbox is Devin Haney. It started there, that they would certainly love to have him back. And I'm sure he's inquired, and it'll be something that if Devin Haney becomes a free agent, like many think, then I'm sure he'll put in a phone call. Because I know for a fact that Gordon Hall still keeps in touch with Bill Haney a lot.
Yeah, Bill definitely said that he wouldn't mind staying with Dazn, but every businessman picks up the phone. You got to listen to the offers, You
got to, bro. You got to. It's imperative. It is imperative.
I got a few questions for Brian, if you'd allow me, just before he gets out of here real quick. Mr. Custer, thank you very much again for your time. I have a few questions. I want to put your fan hat on for a quick second. Again, I'm going to throw 5 names at you. I want you to give me, and if you can't, that's okay, your generational talent, the person you feel would be that Floyd Mayweather of the generation. Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, and Gervonta Tank Davis, from your perspective.
I think from a talent perspective, I think, and you forgot about Jerome Boots Ennis too.
Yeah, the reason why I said that because they were talking about the Fab Four of this generation. Okay. So I just kind of threw Shakur in there. One is the up and coming right behind. Yeah.
I think from a talent perspective, Shakur is man. I like Shakur. I really like that kid. I think he can fight, and you can look at his body and you can tell that he's probably going to be moving. Whether it's 130, 135 to 140, you can see that he will eventually go to a number of those divisions and make noise in all of them. I think Tank is like the mini Mike Tyson of this era. He just has that aura that people generate, they gravitate to, and then in his fights, no matter who he's in the ring with, they're just exciting. And it was kind of like with Mike. I think he's like that. Ryan has that Oscar appeal. He's like a mini Oscar De La Hoya. Maybe his following isn't as large, but it's growing. It's growing. And Teofimo is like, to me, Teofimo is like the working's man fighter. You know what I mean? He is blue collar. I'm coming to take over. Brash. But you better bring your lunchbox and buckle up your chin strap when you get in the ring with Teofimo Lopez. That's kind of how I see all those guys.
Right. Okay, my last two questions I wanted to ask you. One being, in between commercial breaks and what is your go-to snack that you like to have?
Skittles. Like the floor manager will tell you, all I need is a bag of Skittles. Just have a bag of Skittles up there, and I love to eat Skittles. As soon as I throw it to Mo and they start to fight, I'm sitting up there and I'm eating Skittles, man. Eating Skittles, drinking water, watching the fights. That's it. I usually have 2 bags of Skittles up there to get through the night.
On your Marshawn Lynch. Gotta have
exactly. Yes.
My second part to that question, is there any particular music that you play before you guys go live to get you in that groove?
For me, usually I'm listening to some Drake or more like at the very beginning, like after I get out of makeup and I'm getting ready to walk to the set, I like to listen to Diddy and B.I.G. I think what is it, Victory?
Yeah.
For me, that just
so you
did it get you hyped.
You did it bop it all the way to the set.
Yeah. Hey, the sun don't shine forever. And I'll be like, yeah, here we go. We about to go. Let's go. Let's get this on. Let's fight. So yeah, that's for me. That's my go-to music. Right. As soon as I get out of makeup and they're like, yo, let's get on the set. I had to hit that bad boy, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Rock. Let's do this.
My last one I want to ask you is, will we ever get an opportunity to see Mr. Brian Custer put them gloves on and put on a show for the people?
You
got some hands too. We know.
If you come out somewhere out there, Oakland, New Jersey, where I usually go out and train. Yeah. I mean, I see Sweets there all the time. I know Shadesha has been training and working, and I usually see her out there. But yeah, I usually kind of keep it to myself. I'm older now, man. I try to be a calm man. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to hurt nobody. We've had too much animosity going on in this world right now, so I usually kind of keep it to myself. I like to train by myself now and just do my thing, man. But yeah, I'm not trying to. At this point, you'll see once you get older, man. You ain't trying to impress nobody. You already know what you got, so I don't need to be putting that on the gram, what I'm doing and whatever. You know what I mean? I leave that to the guys who get paid to do it. And for me now, it's just more of a lifestyle to stay in shape.
I love it. That's it for me, Ness.
Yeah, no, that's all our questions. Brian, man, I want to thank you as always for coming on the program, talking some boxing with you. Wish you continued success, and can't wait to get you back on, brother.
Hey, man, thank you, Ness. I love you cats, man. And listen, I always tell people, man, make sure y'all hit me up, IG and Twitter at BCusterTV, and then go to the Last Stand podcast on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. You can, if you love it, you can contribute to the show. $2, $5, whatever you want to do. Our website is laststandsports.com.
Brian, man, thank you once again, and keep getting those tough interviews, man. You give us plenty of content to talk about.
Cool.
I'm definitely gonna keep the Al Heyman interview in the boxing prayers there, man, because somebody needs to get it. I would love it, but listen, if anybody's gonna get it, it's definitely gonna be you. What about an Espinoza? You haven't had him on there.
I hadn't and here's the crazy thing is, do you want me to do Espinoza? I was like, well, he's the boss, and Espinoza talks all the time. Do people really want to hear from Espinoza?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I love
it's the questions that you ask, Brian. And my it's the questions. You got to give him the questions that, you know what I mean, that they're not gonna have an easy answer for him. You gotta.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna talk. Matter of fact, we have a talent meeting because we do have a great fight. Hey, Stephen Fulton and Angelo Leo is a really good fight. and don't sleep on Raís Alim and Pausias. That the co-main is going to be a good fight too. Yep. And then Rolly Romero has got Paldo, and listen, Romero got that win last time, and I don't think there was anybody who watched that fight and thought Romero should have won that fight. So he knows he's got to have a better showing. That's going to be the first fight. It's a really good card that we got this weekend, and so we have a talent meeting here in another 2 hours. So you know what, I may have to talk to Espinosa and be like, all right, man, it's about time that you get on this hot seat and step inside this Last Stand podcast.
Yeah, man. You know, I don't know if it's something that you're interested in, but maybe you should consider doing some of those interviews like when you're there versus virtually. Like, if Espinosa's there, why not sit down and record you next to him, doing it? And it's still an upload. We are still going to consume it. It's still going to help you grow, you know, and we're still going to use those quotes for our own show. So, yeah, the more content, the better, because you're definitely making headlines with the interviews, man. So we appreciate what you do because it keeps us talking 7 days a week here on our show for our hardcores. But Brian, man, thank you once again. And then, like I said, we'd love to get you back on.
Cool. Much love to y'all. Y'all have a great day.
I want to ask you some basketball, but I'm going to hit you up personally. This is a boxing show, but that James Harden move, I got to get your take on it, but not right now.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Custard from the Last Stand podcast. We're going to send him some good vibes and hope that he could bang out that Al Heyman interview. Sure. That would be fantastic for the boxing world. We would be talking that years and years to come. You know, sit down with Al is great. So listen, I don't know if you were listening while you were getting the kids ready and stuff like that, but we're basically talking Canelo and the fact that Timothy Bradley is saying Canelo wouldn't be considered pound for pound if he can't knock out Yildirim, who, and I quote, Bradley calls a punching bag. I think that the counter to this argument that Canelo isn't fighting anybody, because that's all in the links I sent you. Bradley feels he's not fighting top opposition. He should get a knockout because this dude's not on his level. And if he doesn't, he's not pound for pound. But then you got Michael Coppinger saying, hey, why we're not praising this dude who's actually fighting, you know, his second fight within 70 days. He's going to be fighting 3 fights in 1 year, and he's going to be undisputed or attempt to do that. So I just think that, like, some fights are necessary evils. You know, Oscar fought Stevie Forbes and Floyd fought Sean Bay Mitchell. And even in Arturo Gatti, right? Like, obviously people are going to get mad and say that I'm comparing Gatti to Yildirim, which I'm not. Yeah. But that apple wasn't too far from the tree.
Well, I'm going to answer like this. To Bradley, definitely capping. Because boxing is boxing, and that's in my opinion, by the way. I definitely feel like him not knocking out Yildirim. Again, some fighters come in there and they know how to survive. They know how to last the rounds and not get too hurt. And to Mike Coppinger, to me, is capping because come on, man. You can't say that Callum Smith, even though being number 1 at 168, was a tough fight for Canelo. So the public are looking at Callum Smith and Yildirim pretty much kind of like on the same level in terms of nobody knows him. Now that might be a little rough for them to feel that way, but that's how the public is looking at it. So whether it was 60 days, 30 days, the turnaround to them don't seem to be too significant going from Callum Smith to Yildirim. So that's why nobody's giving Canelo the credit for it. And being undisputed is always something that you want in the sport. So why didn't he try to do it before? Why now? So that's how a lot of people are looking at it. That's my take on it as well. Yildirim, does he need to knock him out? It would be nice to knock him out, but if he doesn't, I mean, it's boxing. People know how to survive, but he's definitely not on Canelo's level, not even close. Because if Eubank Jr. is starching him, Canelo's supposed to be putting him in the grave. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of better terms. That was a few years ago, and Bradley's right, man. Bradley's right. He should get it, but you can't put that pressure on Canelo because boxing is boxing. A lot of things happen in boxing. That's my take. That's too much pressure from one guy. If you put that pressure on Canelo, you got to put that pressure on everybody else that steps up and has. That's a big fighter.
Well, yeah. Listen.
I mean, he punched on Yildirim. I mean, or he looks like a punching bag, but that. I mean, I like big fights. Dudes get up for big fights, man. They do different things. They work on different things, and he knows going there with Canelo, and Canelo punches hard. So he's gonna do everything he can to last more than one round. He's not trying to get embarrassed.
Let me ask you a question.
What's up?
We're approved for 4 Border Wars fights, 4 Border Wars shows, right? We got sponsor for 4 this year.
Yeah.
Politics aside, who's your 4 fights?
Politics aside, okay. So after not looking past my opponent at all,
he's in there. Stainless. Next 3.
Next 3, no particular order. Yeah. Keem from Florida. Keem from Florida.
FYI, I don't want you to get stuck on Keem, but you wildin'. You ain't see that sparring I put out yesterday, Keem?
Yeah, don't worry. I got you. Don't worry. I got you. Let me finish.
You trying to get your Sunni
somebody else
knocked
throw
off.
somebody else out there.
Yo, why he trying to get his little Sunni knocked off? Keem you ain't ready for Keem yet. You ain't see how he was coming under the shit? Like, you know what I mean? He's slipping and rolling and coming under with hooks and right. Yo, you tripping.
My eyes ain't lying. My eyes ain't lying.
Oh, you see something. Mikey! He sees something.
I definitely want. Nah, that's a fight that we talked about it from a long time. That's why I'm bringing it up. That's a fight that we talked about from a long time.
But that was before you seen his development. Like,
yeah,
he's on a fast pace on development, man. I'm serious.
Yeah, I hear all of that. You asked me my 4 fights. Let me get to it.
I'm waiting.
If Mario loses the show kid, I want that to get back from Mario. And
so you want show kid if he loses the show kid.
If he loses the show kid, I want that. Yeah, definitely need that get back from Mario.
Oh, and he fighting for Mario out here.
Yo, honestly, I gotta give Coach Myers a shot, man. He's been calling me for a while. I don't see no sparring, nothing like it, but just being a man, he called my name. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta pull his card at some point.
So here we go. Out of those 4 names, right?
Off the top, yeah.
Out of those 4 names, who is Caleb Plant? Who is Billy Joe? Who is Yildirim? And who is Callum Smith?
Wow. And this is no disrespect to none of the guys I'm asking the question. I'm just going to answer the way that, you know what I'm saying, me as Yildirim for me would have to be Show Kid because nobody don't know what he's done, right? So it's kind of hard to he would have to be Yildirim. Nobody don't really know what Yildirim has done other than being knocked out by a Eubank. So let's start off there first. Billy Joe Saunders would have to be who was the 2 other names you put? Callum Smith, Billy Joe, and who else?
Callum Smith, Billy Joe, Yildirim, Plant.
I'm gonna have to say that
neither, bro. I'm gonna help you, and I ain't dissing you.
That's what I'm saying.
Coach Myers ain't done nothing to be Plant, Billy Joe, or Callum. Show Kid ain't done nothing to be Plant, Billy Joe, or Callum. So I'm just showing the world that even you, with politics aside, you know, you want to stay active, you can only fight what's in front of you. And the mind subconsciously isn't going to pick for you didn't say Marvin.
Mm-mm.
You didn't say, oh, after Stainless, I want Keem, Marvin, Midi.
Right.
Because that's the schedule y'all want to put Canelo in. You understand? Where the fuck is his Yildirim at?
Midi hasn't fought in a while, but yeah, I get you though.
Nah.
I'm fucking with you.
yeah, but Midi hasn't fought in a while, but I bet you we look at a calendar year, what he got? 2 years out the ring, so does Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? What he got, a year out the ring? So did Canelo when he fought Callum. So
right.
Yeah, you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful.
You're saying that, you know, if everybody has their own 4 fights to make, they're not gonna just off the top pick 4 straight dogs. They're gonna pick the fights that they feel that are necessary.
Absolutely. Listen to me. Listen. I know I can't say this without someone calling like, nah, I would, but man, I'm willing to bet a lot that 90% of the fucking people that call into this show or chat, they ain't taking 4 tough fights on their respected level. They're not doing it. You're not doing it, man. Listen, and you can do that. You can do that. Maybe you can do that like 1 year. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't gonna be something that's always going down, man.
Right, that's gonna be consistent, like consistently find those fights.
Yeah, no, you deteriorate in your body, man. Like, yo, tough fights are tough fights for a reason, you know? But anyway, I'm gonna go out to the phone lines. I just wanted to put that into perspective, man. And if any Border Wars fighters call in, I'm asking you the same question. Because people got a lot of criticism when it's not all about you. As soon as we turn it to you, how you gonna pick? Let's see how many people gonna... Look, dudes is already never fought. You know, they got the nerve to talk about Canelo, Francis, but dudes already never in their life have fought, and they call in talking about, yo, I want to fight Mario off a loss. But you calling Canelo a cherry picker.
A cherry picker.
Fuck out of here, man. That's what I'm saying.
Yo, before you get to the callers real quick, before you get to the sponsors, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody out there that's watching and listening around the world, man. This is the Boxing Voice that's going through your headphones, through your speakers, whatever you're listening to. There's over 300 of us watching and listening wherever you are around the world. And there's only 100 thumbs up. Come on, y'all. Get them thumbs up to 200. If there's 300 of us in here, we can definitely get 200 thumbs up. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, tell a friend to tell a friend. This is TBV. We bring you the dope interviews and dope content. We talking about Canelo not being pound for pound if he doesn't KO Yildirim. Give Canelo praise for staying active. That's what we're talking about right now. We're about to get out to these callers. Have your thoughts ready, and let's go.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Yo, where's Show Kid, man?
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! I'm ready!
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Rated 5-star.
All right.
No rated 5-star.
Subscribe to youtube.com/theboxingvoice for the latest and greatest interviews with your favorite fighters.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Yo, nice. I ain't saying none of these guys can't fight or whatnot, man. But our thinking me is a whole another ball game, man. I've learned a long time ago that sports 90% mental, 10% physical, or 95. It's about our thinking, and I know you feel the same way while you play chess. When you get in there, they're not out thinking you. It's IQ. True.
I mean, yo, chess is a little different, bro. It's who's first to make that mistake, man, or who could capitalize on a mistake. And then sometimes when it's really, really, really good, it's like, you know, who could take a pawn, having it just that one up. So it's I don't know.
But you gotta. If you don't see the mistake, how can you take advantage of it? And sometimes you see the mistake and you can't take advantage of it because you don't know how. That's also mental, but let's go on to the callers. Hold on, you called him and he showed up. Shoki with a super chat, 499 says, just tuned into show, and my promoter went Bob Arum on me, laughing my ass off. Mario got food. I see you at Border Wars 11, Francis. Great interview, guys.
He said you went Bob Arum because you said you gonna fight him if he beats Mario.
my promoter. Did he forget that he just told you yesterday that after he beats Mario, he's gonna look for a new promoter, change promoters? Yeah. I know. I know, man. If you live in a glass house, don't throw stones, man. Let's go.
All right, let me get to Brandon, Cincinnati. Actually, let me get to all these super chats that we didn't read.
Yeah.
Sorry, fellas. Sorry. We got, let's see, we starting from pound for pound. Eric Cruz says TBV in the morning, best way to start the day. Shout out to you, Eric, for starting your day with us. Canelo versus Yildirim last 5 rounds tops. Yeah, that's because Canelo's a true elite level fighter. And that's from Ronald Finkley. And then we got Texas Bulldog Boxing. It says, Nello picking and choosing mandatories, keeping my money. So you not buying it. And I mean, I can see how you perceive it that way since he didn't fight his mandatory in Charlo. Can't debate. And then he says quantity don't beat quality ever with the weed emoji, and he laughing out loud. So he's saying like, yo, just because Canelo's fighting a lot don't mean I'm gonna be happier. And you know, to make that metaphor stick, he's like, Francis, are you happy if I give you a pound of garbage or a pound of fire? You feel me? So you know. We got Joseph, Big Supermax, you read. Ken Stone, who says, let's see AB versus Cletus Selden or DeMarco rematch. Those are good fights, especially to get Broner back in it. Those are two jam-packed fights for Broner and winnable. But the DeMarco fight slightly dangerous, man. He looked real good versus Stantillion, and I thought he won. You read Showkids, Supermax back with another one who says, I'll give my ideal 22-1 perfect world list. Jerron, Santiago 2, Mofongo, Eddie in the low 200s. Then head to Cruiserweight for 2022. So he choosing his 4. And you see, Jerron or Santiago or even Mofongo could be considered Yildirim. Yildirim, Mofongo was knocked out. He could really be considered Yildirim. Santiago never won. He could really be considered Yildirim. And Jerron never fought. He could really be considered Yildirim. Eddie is the pedigree. Eddie is the amateur. Eddie been in with the monster and didn't get stopped. So, you see what I'm saying? Even when it's on you, subconsciously, you are going to protect yourself. But y'all sitting here pointing fingers talking about King Nello. Adrian, Wisconsin, what up?
So, we're not going to Brandon?
He dropped off. I mean, he ain't dropped off, but Adrian jumped on top of him.
Man, hey, what's going on? Y'all hear me?
We hear you.
All right. Yeah, man, good show today, man. I always like when you got Brian on, man. He always answers questions really well. But yeah, man, great shows. I'm excited for Border Wars. Hey, Ness, do I just send that Border Wars money to your Cash App, like the next GTO one?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna send that in about 30 minutes. Yeah, man, I'm just excited, man, about boxing and all these fights coming up. It seems like boxing is really kind of shaping up and putting the big fights together sooner rather than later. A lot of content, a lot of fights I'm looking forward to. I don't think people should be so mad at Canelo. I mean, he's just doing, isn't Yildirim his mandatory?
He is the mandatory.
I mean, yeah, like, why are they mad? He's fighting his mandatory. He would have to do that anyway.
They're mad because...
I mean, I think he's in the Floyd mate.
They're mad because he didn't fight his mandatory when it was Charlo.
Okay, I get that, but here's the thing.
Or Derevyanchenko, but... You know, Michael Coppinger has given us plenty of information. Derevyanchenko was playing financial hardball as a mandatory. Like, you wanted more than your split or more than what Canelo wanted to give you. The point of the matter is Canelo offered him $5.5 million. Derevyanchenko said no. Canelo dropped the belt.
Well, and too, I look at it like Ness, like you were saying earlier, I commented, like, a lot of people forget about the business piece with guys like Canelo and these guys.
Cut it.
I know I cut you in the middle of that, but I gave you hella time. You know, and I got to stay on time because greatness is en route. You know, he's taking transportation publicly to get to us, the train. So we need to be punctual. Brandon, Cincinnati, it is on you.
Hey, whole nother time zone. Just duffel bag with our mind on. Can't play when you here, get your life stole. If you bring it here, then the price grow. From jabbing and punching the line long. I drop a pigeon, let 9 go. We slap with the fake glass and white go. This only happens in Ohio.
TDC looks good. Can you hear me, Ness?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to apologize. I neglected you guys last night, man. I allowed my girl to talk in and not watching the show and instead watched that Keisha Cole versus Ashanti versus battle, and that shit was terrible. So I apologize, brother. I never neglect my boxing brothers again. But as far as the topic, I don't have a problem with this fight, man. It's a mandatory, quick turnaround, and if he's able to pull what he's trying to pull off, which is become undisputed in less than a year? In less than a year, because he got the belt in December, he'll be undisputed by September if he wins all his fights. That's big shit, man. 4 fights, 4 belts, and 4 fights in less than a year. I can't do nothing but respect it. So, is the fight a great fight? No, but it's only one fight, and he got 2 or 3 great scheduled fights for the rest of the year. So I'm cool with it. But that's my call, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right, CYP, what up?
Yo, it's kind of simple, man. It's actually very simple. That's why the boxing world outside of TVV says this over and over again. Yildirim had a 2-year layoff coming off a loss. No way in hell he should be a mandatory. People get stripped of their titles for having 2-year layoffs, okay? This dude got rewarded. It's only about Yildirim. And the blackout is real. The blackout is real. The hashtag is lining up and going crazy amongst the boxing world. The only way to keep the black athlete down is to not let them race. And boxing needs everybody involved, all races, all nationalities, to make the most money. So I understand it. I ain't mad, but it's a salute to the black athlete. CYP out.
All right. Yo, Neo G Dallas with a super chat, $5 super chat that says, "Oh, helmet head looking at Bradley needs to stop. Why won't he keep same energy when it comes to Bud's opponents?"
Nah, they give Bud the pass. Oh no, all the fighters are on PBC side, so Bud, this is what Bud's got to fight. Coach Midday, what up?
Yo, check the pre-pro.
I am the unified heavyweight champion of the world.
I know you're booing me because I whipped the fighter's ass, but that's boxing.
On this side of the pond, we're serious. Do you know what I mean? UK Great Britain boxing is on the map.
My God, I feel terrible. I feel terrible that I'm living in your event 3.
Hey, yo, what up? Nice
what up?
Yo, hey, I'm just calling here to thank you guys, man. Like, the day at work is like, it goes so much faster when you're listening to the show, man. Like, any little thing makes me laugh, man. You guys are crazy.
So I'm assuming you laughing at Brandon, Adrian jumping on top of Brandon.
Yeah, like that's the little things that you say, right? When you live, you don't realize how the things you say and how it sounds, but that's funny, man. Like Adrian jumping on top of Brenda, I said, damn, why?
Yeah, something else, I'll tell you.
Yo, but no, I mean, like the topic, I don't know. There's not much to say about that, right? I don't think that Canelo is doing anything wrong, especially knowing what we know, right? We know that the next fight is most likely for one of the title, and probably like beat it draw. So yeah, I can't hate on the guy. And then Bradley, I guess Bradley has to voice some kind of opinion. But yeah, I don't think that's fair, and I don't actually believe that he believes that 100%. Maybe he believes that Yildirim is a punching bag. That's the one thing that he believes. But I don't think he believes that Canelo is not pound for pound number one or in the pound for pound conversation. Even if he doesn't stop Yildirim, I think it will stop him anyway. But we can't really say too much against Canelo right now. Like nobody's doing what he's doing. And yeah, shout out to him. So
Mitty,
3 fights. Yo.
Why haven't you had a Yildirim? You're doing more than Canelo. You haven't taken a soft touch.
Hey man, like that's my promoter is a bit like Bob Arum. Like my promoter is like Nestor Gibbs. He doesn't want me to take like no soft touch. Right? He wants to see me getting beat up. So he's putting me in there with killers all the time.
Oh man, yo, I'm just thinking about that. Like, yo, Mitty took on what? Your first one was who? Doomy?
Yeah, Doomy and JD.
And JD the pro, and then Elias, a pretty good amateur. Yeah, you don't do soft touches, man. That's impressive. See, because I was gonna hit you with the what's your 4 fights, politics and COVID aside, but.
Oh, I can tell you.
No, I know that you're not gonna pick anybody soft because you're actually letting guys develop so that it could be a good fight for you. So. But yeah, you could tell us anyway for those people that don't know you as closely as we do. Who would you pick your next 4 fights?
I'm going for whoever's got the top, like whoever's number one pound for pound, man. That's who I want to fight, man. So yeah, that's it, man. And I guess, like, you know, I can't fight against myself, so I'm going for number 2 pound for pound.
That's Marvin. That's Marvin. You don't have to fight your. No, who's number 2 right now? Bo, where you at?
You number 2, man.
Yo, I told you gotta gain weight, man. Come in at 200.
Nah, I can't do that. But anyway,
slow him right down.
Like,
all that speed, all that speed gonna be gone at 200.
Yeah, at 200, I'm dead, man.
Let me get to Dennis in Tampa, man. What's up? Good.
Hey, yo.
Carajo. What's good, champ?
Just so you know, the reason why it also fighting King would be on the list is because I need to get back from Mario. Can't have co-hosts out here looking bad, man. I can't find a heavyweight to look. If we're around the same weight, I'm gonna get it.
Nah, listen, I hear you.
But
you ain't put Marvin in there, so that means you ain't put Marvin in there. So
he didn't be the host. He didn't be the host.
And Corey, and who else is tough at 60 or 68? Like, yo, even Rob the Genius is a tough fight with all the punches he throws. So all I'm saying is everybody will pick a year, then, man. Everybody will pick a year. Except Mitty. Except me. I can't lie on his name, man. I was sitting here thinking like, damn, this dude never took a soft fight. Dennis, what up?
Let's go.
What up?
What up?
Look, the
fire's come. Are you ready for the fire? We're firemen. We are firemen.
BoxingVoice.com.
Hey man, this COVID shots and other stuff that we're doing in our hospital keep me real busy. But I listen to everything, even though I can't get to participate. I'm here in spirit. Hey, check this out. I was just thinking about this. Check out Gary Russell that fights every fucking mandatory, and then once in a while he'll show shades of fighting somebody worthy, then go back to his mandatory. And Canelo's the opposite. When he fights his mandatory, it's a scrub, supposedly, and then he'll go turn around and shock the world and fight fucking Kovalev, right? So what I think is he's going to fight this Yildirim dude, you know, and do what he's got to do, and then watch him come back and shock the world and do something big. He's going to fight Charlo, man, because that's his holy grail. He don't want to be looking like a chump. Even though people call him a chump, he always does something back to say, take that, and you remember that famous thing that he puts his finger over his mouth and tell everybody shut the funk up. That's what he's gonna do. Yo, Ness, check your email. I got that ref trying to work with us. Okay, so blessings everybody.
I told you on Instagram, bro. He didn't hit me. I sent you my email twice so you could just copy paste because you must be sending it to the wrong email. Or,
no, I fixed that, Ness.
Just make sure you copy paste what I sent you.
Yes, sir, I did. And Chris is there waiting for you to answer, and he has some questions because he's a professional ref.
I have not gotten an email from you. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay, I'll try again.
Copy paste the email I sent you on Instagram. All right?
Yeah.
We're gonna go out to New Orleans.
So interesting that you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit. Hey, with that comment. Come on. No, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit. You know, we're doing live TV. Man, I don't care. What you gonna do about it?
I'm killing this mother. Why do you have to talk like that? Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you. You have a problem? Turn off your station. I'm the best ever.
Yo, what's up? What's up?
What up?
Always good interview with Brian Custer, you know. I hope he could show up to one of the Border Wars. I'm not gonna slander Canelo. You know, I guess he's done what he's consistent on fighting nobodies. But you know, like CYP said, this guy been off 2 years. I didn't even much know that, and he getting rewarded this fight is ridiculous. But man, I really don't got too much on the topic. I can't wait to see Canelo step in the ring and fight somebody with a better name, a bigger name. I'm tired of who has he fought to not fight Canelo. If them names are going around the sport and them names will keep being brought up in these fighters' name and their mouth and the fans won't see this fight, that's obvious the next fight, the big fight, Do I agree with you about fight after fight nest? Now, I agree with you about that, but who has Canelo fought? And you brought up Timothy Bradley. I just went and looked at Timothy Bradley's last 8.
Cut it. I don't know. Maybe he just waking up. I don't understand a few things. Who was Canelo fought? And this is what Canelo always do. Fights nobodies. So name the nobodies on his resume. Who's a nobody? Because we got to be careful what we say. Because all of a sudden, Fielding is a nobody, but not Tank. Because Tank got the same regular belt that Fielding got. And Romero got the same regular belt that Fielding got. And I can mention so many other people that got the same regular belt. You know what I mean? You guys, I don't know, man. I don't know. You know? I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's tough.
Y'all crazy, man.
But yo, JB Cinema with a super chat $4.99 that says Canelo will continue to fight champions. Anybody else that he fights in between is just a bonus for us.
Exactly. And Alex Jones with the super chat, he says, I don't super chat apparently, but you do, Alex. Probably not as much as CYP who you're arguing with, so that's why he's saying that. But yes. JT counterpunch.
Unless you be ready to cut it, but you give everybody else extra time. What I was trying to tell you is, if you look at the last 8 fights, I just went and looked at Canelo record, and I looked at Timothy Bradley. You asking who is Timothy Bradley? The last 8 fights he had was not no tune-up fights Tim Bradley fought. You talking about Canelo being consistent. You can be consistent when you fighting average fighters. I mean, the top fighters, they fight average fighters, they be fighting 3 or 4 times a year. But when you take tough fights with bigger names, it is a gap in between it. That's why you have 2 fights. So I disagree with that. Canelo is consistent on fighting nobodies, and he's been doing it. He's not fighting
nobody. Who's the nobody?
Hold on, that's because I know you about to cut me out. He's consistent on fighting nobodies, bro. This dude, we don't even know this dude. We didn't even know Callum Smith before his name got brought up on here. And we gave him the benefit of the doubt, and look what happened in the fight. He didn't use his height, he didn't use nothing in that fight.
Cut it. You gotta understand what it is that you're saying, man. You know, you're saying we didn't even know this dude. We didn't even know Callum Smith till you talked about of him on the show. Brother, that is your problem. And totally your fault, right? Like, if I don't know something, it's because I didn't educate myself on it. So, like, if I don't know about top politics, I'm not going to talk about it. But guess what, Francis? I don't even watch politics.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But guess what I do watch?
What?
Boxing. So I know Callum Smith.
Know.
So I know Callum Smith. Like, the shit that comes out of your mouth is insane to me. Don't nobody even know Yildirim. Well, guess what? I watched Yildirim fight Chris Eubank all those years ago. I wasn't told that he got knocked out by Eubank. I didn't go to YouTube. This is what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't get involved in liberal, Democrat, Republic. I don't know nothing about that shit. So I can't bring it up. I can't tell you who's a good politician, who's a bad. I could tell you who's a good fighter and who's not. I'm not going to come on a show and lie. When I know how hard it is to do this job, I'm not going to lie and say that Canelo Alvarez is fighting nobodies. Now, I don't know what he meant when he said, look at Tim Bradley's last 8 fights. Did he try to say that Tim Bradley was fighting tough fighters and not Canelo in the last 8?
8 fights, yeah.
Are you sure that's how you interpreted it too? Because I don't want to be putting my energy on you. I almost felt like he was saying Bradley's last 8 fights are tougher than Canelo's last 8. Is that me? Is that me and my Canelo shield just projecting, trying to desperately save Canelo in this argument? Or did he really say that craziness?
Nah, that's what I heard. I don't always agree with you, but that's what I heard. And I'm not saying I agree with your sentiments, but that's what I heard. Felt like he was saying that Bradley's last 8 fights were better than Canelo's. So.
Even though he said he didn't know who Callum Smith was, who actually went through the World Boxing Super Series, actually beat George Groves, was actually the #1, had the ring, won the Ali trophy. Even though he didn't know him, I'm going to say that JT knows enough about boxing to know that the last 8 fights of Bradley don't compare to Canelo, simply because he got Brandon Rios Jesse Vargas and Diego Chavez in the last 8. And you could even slide in Ruslan in there. So I don't even that can't not be the argument. I think he was on our side saying Bradley shouldn't be talking, because if you look at his last 8, he was taking some tune-ups. Maybe that's what he was saying. I don't know. But we got a few counter punches. I think we got one from him and another from CYP. Right? Right.
Yep. Yeah. That's correct.
Yeah, that's me. I disagree with y'all. I'm looking at Canelo record. If I go by 8, hold on, give me some time. I'm going down the list. All right, we got Liam Smith, Chavez. That's a name right there. Grenada Golovkin. That's a name. That's 3 fights. Rocket Fielding, nobody. So that's 2 right there. Daniel Jacobs. That's a name. That's 4. Sergio Kovalev, the retired. That's 5. Taylor Smith is a nobody. Hold on, let me get to Tim Bradley. So that was, I think I said 4 nobody names. Hold on, let me get to Tim Bradley. Don't cut me. Let me get on. I'm Googling.
He's Googling, y'all. Y'all buckle up.
Francis, you need to be quiet, because you talking about coming for Keem, and you definitely ain't going to get past Stainless. So you need to focus on Stainless talking about you getting the Keem. Let's go to Tim Bradley. All right, Manny Pacquiao, Russian. I can't even say this dude's name. The one that almost put Tim Bradley in a coma. Everybody knew him. Juan Manuel Marquez. Everybody knows him. Manny Pacquiao again. Diego Gabriel Chavez, the one that fought Keith Thurman. Yeah, that was a big fight. Jesse Vargas has a better name than Liam Smith and Callum Smith. Brandon Rios, a big name. Manny Pacquiao again. So his last 8 fights are better than Canelo's last 8 fights.
I'm going to get that sound bite. Remember my man from New York, man? A-Rap Money. We getting A-Rap Money. Remember that?
That money, of course.
Yo, then he had like one song where he was like jumping out the window or some shit. I know the hook says something about jumping out the window. My man jumping out the window right here to like, I don't even know, but this is the Canelo hate. It pumps it goes through their fucking veins like a shot of heroin, man. Like, yo, I literally screenshot. I hope you know, I was on point. The minute you started talking, I was showing Canelo's resume. The minute you started talking about Bradley, it was already screen sharing for the public to see. You sound like a complete casual fan. Enrique should lend you his name for the rest of the fucking year. He literally used his own fucking words to say that Diego Chavez is somehow that was a big fight because he lost to Thurman? Because he lost to Thurman, it was a big fight. Thank you. Thank you for showing your true colors. So you think Thurman is still true king, huh? You holding him in such high regard that if a dude loses to Thurman, it's a big fight. All for loss with Bradley. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Then he said Jesse Vargas. That was a big fight. Jesse Vargas. See, and this is what I'm saying. These dudes don't watch boxing. See, I don't talk politics. I didn't see what Barack Obama was doing 15 years ago before I don't know none of that shit, but I know what Jesse did 15 years ago. I knew who the fuck he was trained with. When he was fighting 4-round fights, I was watching it. You was not. When he was fighting on Spike TV and he was trained by Roger Mayweather, I was watching it. You was not. When he switched to Oscar's trainer and left Roger, I was watching it. You was not. When he fucking robbed Jesse Vargas, Josecito Lopez on Friday Night Fights, I was watching it. You was not. Okay? So you come on here and say, oh, he's a big fight. Why? Because he lost to Pacquiao on a pay-per-view? Or because he got beat up by fucking Mikey Garcia, who wasn't a real welterweight? Tell us why your casual ass is telling us now that he's a big fight just because you want to win an argument and make Canelo look bad. You sound crazy, man. Y'all got to stop with your hatred, man. Y'all just hate everybody, man. CYP counterpunch.
Hey, JT, make sure you're in Florida, man.
Yo, for one, me and JT both know more about boxing than you. And secondly, this is true. This is true. Timothy Bradley's last 8 fights are better than... Look, everybody in the chat listening, everybody listening now, go look it up, put the 8 together, and you will see that JT knows what the hell he's talking about. Secondly, Yildirim is probably, and I'm going to go on a limb, the worst mandatory ever for a superstar boxer. Literally, could you imagine if Charlo was about to fight a dude on a 2-year layoff coming off a loss? Could you imagine if Bud was about to do that? Do you know what y'all would be saying And I'm surprised that the people from the UK are pissed off that Yildirim got a mandatory shot, but Dillian White didn't. Y'all are confused. Y'all allow this man, his narrative, to cloud you. Ness, calm it down.
Cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it.
Happy that shit is over. My man adds nothing. Brings absolutely nothing. Me and JT know more about boxing than you. No proof to that, nothing. But I love killing them. I love killing them. We gonna put this hole in the ground with every fucking body I catch. Cause now we gonna screen share everybody's last 8 fucking fights, and we gonna tell the truth. We gonna start with Bradley since these two fucking liars want to make up bullshit to the audience. So let's count properly here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope. So that's wrong. So we got to start up 2 more, right? So we gonna go where? Let's count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he starts with Pacquiao, coming off of Joel Casamayor win. See, again, when you don't know about boxing, right, and you just want to call into a boxing show to talk and try to, I don't know, measure your little pee-pee, then you talk shit, right? But someone tell me he got a Pacquiao fight. Who's not taking a Pacquiao fight?
Right.
Who's not taking it?
Right.
Who's not taking it? And he was with Gary Shaw Promotions. So let's go back so y'all can see. He beat the undefeated Devin Alexander. I watched that fight. JT, CYP, they didn't watch that fight. They don't know nothing about the curtains in that arena to block off so that you don't see how empty it was because Bradley and Devin couldn't sell out shit in St. Louis or wherever the fuck that shit happened. I think in Detroit. You know, tell Slayton's to tell us how good that did. You know, but they didn't watch that fight. You motherfuckers wasn't watching that fight. You probably was working. CYP, I know you a businessman. You was working. You was busy training someone, but you didn't watch that fight. Okay? You don't know what happened, right? And then he fought Joel Casamayor. So someone tell me, how the fuck do you fight Joel Casamayor and you deserve a Pacquiao fight? Because we sitting here saying how Yildirim don't deserve a Pacquiao fight. I mean, a Canelo fight. And how Charlo and Andre shouldn't have to fight anyone to deserve a fight, right? But I guess it don't change it. But he signs to Top Rank. That's what they don't want to tell you. No, he's this tough guy. He's a tough guy because he fought Pacquiao, but he had to sign to fight Pacquiao. Say that. Say that he had to leave his whole team and change and sign to fight Pacquiao. The same thing y'all telling Bud not to do. Keep that same energy. But you a fickle ass, I don't know shit about boxing except per argument, so I'm going to say everything so the shit falls up on my face. That's what you're doing. Because in your Bud arguments, Bud shouldn't have to leave Bob Arum to get the big fight. But Bradley had to. And then he does get the fight because that's what happens. That's what happens when you sign to the promoter who has the welterweight champ, right? So he fought Pacquiao, and nobody thought he beat him. But you see JT and CYP calling to say that Bradley got a better resume because he lost to Pacquiao. He got a better resume. What are they talking about? But let's keep going. He loses to Pacquiao, but he really robs Pacquiao, right? But I scored it for Bradley. It's on record. It's on record. I scored it for Bradley. I took a lot of hatred for that. People didn't believe it. I thought he outboxed Pacquiao. I swear to God, I thought he outboxed Pacquiao. It's on record. He fights Ruslan. They're giving him credit for Ruslan. And guess what he did?
What?
He was so weak-minded. Unlike Canelo, who doesn't fall victim to the hatred of his fans, of CYPs and the JTs, and the Timothy Bradleys of the world. But Bradley was weak-minded. That's what they won't tell you, but Nestor will because I lived it. Bradley took that Pacquiao win and suffered shame. His family got death threats. They had to move. So when he signed for the Ruslan fight, he didn't fight in the Timothy Bradley, I'm a boxer first, I never knocked no one out in my life style. No, he decided to say, I'm going to act like I got power even though y'all know I don't. Why? Because I have to earn your love and admiration back because you're mad at me that I was gifted a decision. And I can't take the harassment My family doesn't like the harassment, so I'm going to give you back everything I can. And I'm going to fight outside myself. So when JT said he almost died in that fight, somehow, again, JT's lack of boxing knowledge, he wants you, Francis, to now rank Bradley higher because he almost died that night. Does that make Ruslan good or Bradley bad? That he couldn't find the skills to outbox a brawler that Algieri found. Algieri found the skills to outbox the shit out of Ruslan and got a championship Manny Pacquiao fight, JT. But guess what? You didn't even watch that shit because you don't know shit about boxing. You just call in and you want to argue with me. Watch the sport. Again, I don't watch politics, so I can't tell you nothing about. I can tell you everything about this sport. Everything. So, we're going to keep going. He loses something with Ruslan. Yeah, Marquez, good win. Let's move on. Again loses to Pacquiao, but somehow his resume's better. Gets a draw to Diego Chavez, who somehow is a big fight in JT's mind. Oh, let's stop forgetting the CYP said that JT's right. So he as well is in this ridiculous argument that Bradley would have draw to a dude that lost by knockout to Keith Thurman is somehow got a great resume in his last 8 fights. The same Bradley that outboxed Jesse Vargas for 11 straight rounds and then almost got knocked out, if not knocked out in the 12th. And that's what happened. Jesse got a Pacquiao fight for almost knocking out Bradley in the 12th. Did y'all forget? Of course y'all forgot, because guess what? You didn't fucking watch it. You reading off BoxRec, man. But I'm going to let y'all come. I know y'all counter-punching. I know y'all ready. I'm not, and that's one resume. I wanted to show you his, because this the one you propping up. But this is all the shit you don't know, because you don't watch boxing, man. You don't know nothing about Jesse Vargas versus Lucky Boy Omotoso and Lucky Boy killing somebody in the ring and coming from Lagos, Nigeria, and fucking knocking down Vargas and getting robbed for that win too. But you talking about Vargas a big fight, because you don't know shit about boxing. You don't know shit about boxing. If you knew something about boxing, you wouldn't be you would. The minute CYP and you agree, that's when you need to jump off the fucking boat. No, if he said JT is right, you should know CYP. You know what? I'm done. I don't want to be right if you think I'm right, because you know he always fucking wrong. Well, who's first?
Super chat first. Super chat says Dream Chasers with a $9.99 super chat says nah CYP and at JT y'all tripping. Super chat. Also, Ronald Finkley with his $5 super chat that says only fight Canelo came close to being legit for me was Danny Jacobs. That's a body at 160. He's a cherry picker. And then it's I think CYP first or JT. Oh, boxing expert says Charlito and Andrade combined are garbage. By that standard, laugh my ass off. And let's not forget, these two guys, favorite fighters, won't fight each other. Laughing my ass off. And I think it's CYP first, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what's funny is that you got to go on a tirade for a dude who don't know nothing and don't bring nothing to the show. You got to call names for a dude who don't know nothing and don't bring nothing to the show. For one, CYP, it's arguably bigger than you on your own show. You need 4 other dudes on your show to help you carry the show. Partner, why don't you do like Blue Blood and them and just talk by yourself and see who supports you? You need us, my man. We are a team. Whether you like me or not, we are partners, my man. And I don't want to argue with you about my opinion. All y'all got to do is look it up yourselves. Put 8 versus 8, and you will see it's not even close. This dude is lying to y'all. And for one, he said he just became a Canelo fan. He said he wasn't rocking with Canelo back then. But now he's Canelo expert. Guys, stop it. We know more about boxing than you, and TVV don't exist without the callers. That's when you make your most money, my man, is when the callers get to talking. Cut it.
Exactly. Cut it. 20 minutes obsessed with me. Like, everybody who hears you knows all you do is talk about me. The rest of his call didn't use any of it to defend his argument. Instead told you to go do the research. Like, man, goodbye.
Yeah, super chats real quick that we forgot to get to earlier. It's cool with his with a $1.99 super chat that says facts. Any Canelo hates are mainly Crawford fans. Sad! Exclamation point. Boxing expert had said with a $5 super chat that says I cry when Canelo couldn't fight his mandatory in Schenko? Oh, but when it comes to your guy, The river overflows. Laughing my ass off. JC with a $1.99 super chat that says, I knew who Smith was before the fight. A cherry.
Yeah, a cherry that no one was fighting. No one got in the tournament. You know, it's funny. Regis got such a backing when he got in the World Boxing Super Series. You know what I'm saying? But here's Callum who actually wins. No love. JT, go for it.
Ness, you chewing up my argument. I never said Timothy Bradley was a better fighter than Canelo, or ranked higher than Canelo. I looked at the last eight fights. Timothy Bradley fights were better than his fights, and the Jesse Vargas, the Russian dude, all them guys. I didn't say that was the best fights at the time. They were better fights, better opponents than Canelo picked in his last 8 fights. And Francis, I'm gonna be at that Border Wars, and guess what? I'm gonna be eating my popcorn, watching Stanley beat your ass. You talking about coming for Keem? You're not gonna even get past Stanley, my brother. I'm just being honest. You just talk a lot of bullshit. I'm just being honest, and there's no hate to you. I'm keeping it in the show. We cool when we meet up, but I'm just telling you.
I want to give you more time. No, that's your time. I want to give you more though.
Okay.
What have you seen that we didn't see? Because we seen that bag for work yesterday.
No, this is what I seen. I seen Frank. Look, I called it before Mario. No disrespect. I respect Mario from getting in the ring, but I knew Mario was gonna lose to King. All that talking can't get you a win in a boxing ring. That's not real life. Francis talk a lot of stuff. I like the dude. When I met him, he cool, but I know he ain't gonna beat no Stainless.
But what I'm asking you is, what is Stainless showing you that's making you believe?
Stainless don't have to show me nothing. I'm just going off my gut on this one.
Oh, okay. That's
look,
all I wanted.
Another thing. I don't call to argue with you. You tied it to your opinion. You feel like I don't know nothing about boxing. I've been in boxing and stuff like that. I don't know how long you've been in boxing. I got my opinion. You got your opinion. I don't call or argue about it. I highly disagree with you with this Canelo stuff. Because if any other fighter was doing what Canelo do, Charlos, Bud Crawford, any other of those fighters, y'all go trash them for picking the opponents that they picked. So when Canelo could do,
I gave you the extra time because I wanted your thoughts on the Border Wars thing. But let me tell y'all something, man. Y'all tripping. I got those resumes pulled up, man. All right, and we gon' just cause you added Bud name, we gonna write his name in here too, man. Y'all tripping, man. Y'all tripping. Everybody last 8, man. Watch how this shit sound, and I'm screen sharing. All right, let's stop these lies, y'all. I don't even understand how y'all doing this when the shit is on black and white. Look, we done with Bradley. We already seen like how the fuck you getting credit for your last 8 fights? First of all, has Vargas ever been a legitimate world champion? Has he ever been a legitimate world champion? Or because again, is he pricking and choosing and saying Vargas was a champion when what was he? What a WBA regular like Fielding?
Was it WBA regular or was it WBO?
Let's see. When was Vargas a champion? Vargas WBA. Vacant WBC Continental. Vargas down. What's this? This is versus Matoso. Oh no, that's not it. So when did Vargas get a title shot, y'all? Who'd he fight for a world title? Timothy Bradley, but Bradley beat him. So who else? Pacquiao, but Pacquiao beat him. Did he have a belt? Oh, he beat Saddam Ali. He knocked out Saddam Ali.
That's what it is, yeah.
He knocked out Saddam Ali. I remember that shit.
Right? The WBO,
He knocked his ass out. I remember. That got him the Pacquiao fight.
Yep.
And yo, that win looks good because Saddam came back to not knock out, but beat Cotto. At the end of his career. CYP back with another one.
Oh, okay.
All right, look. This is about Bradley's last 8, Canelo's last 8. Nobody else. We gotta stick to the topic. See, when you go off topic, until you take an L. His best fight on there was Pacquiao, who's better than Canelo's best fight, which is Triple G. His worst fight is against my man Daniel Chavez, still better than Yildirim. So even his worst is better, and his best is better, and in the middle, stop it. Because Yildirim never been a champion, real champion. Rocky Philly's never been a real champion, and Liam Smith never been a real champion. The only dude on this list that what's the name fought that never been a real champion was his worst fight and the Mexican dude, and Chavez. It's not even close. It's not the reason I say I don't want to argue because I know I'm right, but I want y'all to start being like me. Look it up for yourself. Stop letting me sway you and that sway you.
Brother, you can't win the argument because you're saying his biggest win or his biggest fight is Pacquiao. He lost to Pacquiao. Like, how you giving a dude credit? So then look at what he's doing. Bradley loses to Pacquiao, but we're gonna give him credit for losing to Pacquiao. But Canelo loses to Mayweather. We're not even gonna mention that as the biggest fight. You heard him not mention that. He literally said Canelo's biggest fight is Triple G. He didn't say it was Mayweather. Why? Because he lost to Mayweather. But he somehow mentions Bradley. Bradley lost to Pacquiao. Or are you giving them credit? Did you pick him to win in that first one? Did he win? Like, because I thought he won. I'm one of the people that was willing to go on record and do a podcast and be labeled as crazy for that first fight. Like, I was there Sunday after the pay-per-view, like, yo, this is my scorecard. Bradley won that fight. I feel like he outboxed Pacquiao. You know? People called me crazy. Is CYP now saying that I'm smart and that he was with me all this time? Because I don't understand. Are you giving him credit for the robbery? Or explain it to me. I mean, and then he talks about regular champions and whatnot. And what was Diego? He was a interim when he fought Thurman, and Thurman snatched that belt.
Yep. Sean Ferguson with the super chat, $5 super chat. It says King Nello make everybody
upset. I bet you he said
look
that.
like they quit in the ring. To me, that's how good King Nello is.
I'm all over the place. I'm screen sharing everything, but let's go through all this for these guys, man. Now look at Charlo's last 8. It starts from Austin Trout, right? Austin Trout, who has to be said, his first loss comes to Canelo Alvarez. And then his second fight is Julian Williams. Then it's Sebastian Hyland, Hugo Centennial, Matt Korobov, Brandon Adams, Dennis Hogan, Sergey Derevyanchenko. Right? That's his last 8.
Right.
You go to Canelo's, his last 8. You can't put Yildirim. They're mad. They're putting Yildirim. He ain't even fight him yet. But that's cool. Let's put him there. He ain't fight him yet. Let's put him there, though. Yildirim, Smith, Kovalev, Jacobs, Fielding, Gennady. Right? How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with Chavez. Right? Mm-hmm. And Andre. Hey, what's going on? 1 with Luke Keeler, Selecki, Abakov, Akinwande. Fox is what? 5th, right? What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool Play 7, 6. Willie Nelson 7, and Puncheta 8. Have we ever heard of Puncheta? Okay. Let's see Crawford, Kelbrook, the ghost of Christmas past, the shell of himself. Crab and Lobster number 2. Amir Khan, another ghost. The one-legged pirate in Benavidez is number 4. Jeff Horn, the robbery, in number 5. Ndango, decent win. I love that win, because Ndango beat the Tranowski. I can't hate on Ndango. I always liked Ndango. So what number we on there? 6 for him. Felix Diaz, gold medalist, Dominican, good win. 7. And Molina, the boxing's, let me not say that for fucking Molina smack me. But everybody knows Molina. You know what I'm saying? What are we really saying here? We just showed you, the people he's allegedly ducking's last 8. Here it goes. This is Andre. Here we go. This is Charlo. I mean, what are we saying here, fellas? And the guy the guy that's calling him a duck in Bradley. This is his last 8. Look at all the losses and draws on his shit looking like, pot of Lucky Charms with all these colors. What's going on with these red and greens, man?
Shoki with a super chat, 499 super chat that says, forget Errol versus Crawford. My dream fight is Ness versus CYP. This has to happen for the culture.
Who's that?
Show Kid.
Yo.
He wants to see you versus CYP. This has to happen for the culture.
He got to get a fight. Yo, CYP got to go through so much red tape. The dude is a head case. Every time we try to get him a fight, something crazy happens, He's got a first show that people can be around him and we don't got to worry about ridiculous drama that we never, ever talk about other than CYP. You've never heard of a rumble, a fight, a smack, nothing in our events other than when CYP's name is mentioned. So first he's got to get off the no-fly zone list, which means, you know, this guy's a terrorist. Then once we can trust him, he needs to get a fight and get a fucking resume, right? The same fucking thing Charlo needs to do and Andre need to do. I'm the A side. Yeah, call it excuses. I'm not the one that's running around here trying to fight everybody in the community. That's not an excuse. That's facts. You've had several public beefs. I'm cool with everybody.
That you don't want to spill over into the event, right? You don't want that shit to come to the event.
And a huge majority of the people have even been to my house. So I don't have the trouble that you have. You are the one that's in a street fight verbally on Skype every other day. That's not me. You could counterpunch and say I'm lying all you want. We both know that ain't true. That call was greatness. So that means after CYP, all of y'all getting left. CYP, what up?
Oh my God! Now you changing the topic. Now it's about me being a duck. I'm a gym owner. I'm around
I never called you a duck. Stop that.
Listen,
I never called you a duck.
No. Not a duck. When a duck, I'm on a no-fly zone. People don't like me. My God.
No, I never said people don't like you.
Hold on. No. Let's be real here.
No. I'm not gonna let you add words and prolong it.
No, man. No.
Well,
Let's be real.
Either you're gonna.
Come on, my guy. Is that what you're gonna do today?
Yes. If you're gonna recite me, you better do it word for word. You're not gonna add words for me to then make some fake argument. I never called you a duck. I never said people don't like you. I said you have very public beefs out here. So, remember, I hold the keys to the fader. They can't hear you. All the yelling you're doing right now, we don't hear you. You either gonna have your call and don't put words in my mouth, or don't have your call and I can move on and go pick up greatness who's ready to get in border wars. You see, a guy who's actually gonna fight in border wars. He's not arguing. He's not trying to meet up people talking about my friend. Matter of fact, I gotta go. He's not talking about, oh, my friend's gonna meet up and I can't control them and let me and you fight and, oh no, I was about to fight JT. Nah, dog, we don't do all that shit. We just have fun, do border wars. Dudes are actually really doing it. You keep saying, we on season 10, you haven't fought yet. There's nothing you can tell us. Nothing at all. You haven't fought yet. You had mad fights scheduled. Then at one point, Mitty was going to fight you. The date didn't work. Like, come on, bro. Chill. I got to go. Nest GTO, Instagram and Twitter. Callers, unfortunately, Border Wars duties. We got to do this. Peace.
You already know what it is, man. Next up, Sports Talk, NEX, UP, Sports Talk, IG, Twitter, YouTube. Check me out. You know what I'm saying? Got dope content over there. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up button and subscribe button on the way out. We'll catch you on the next one, y'all. Peace.